Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Got to be a bit brisk because, first of all, I apologize for coming a bit behind schedule, way beyond our control. So sorry, but we're here now. No time to lose. We wanted to look at the political situation in, shall we say, in Plateau, especially as it relates to the politics of APC in the state. APC has, in May, come up with its governorship candidate from among the aspirants, but it hasn't been very peaceful since then. In fact, elders in Plateau have had to hold press conferences, counseling peace and that kind of a thing. And so we thought we'd grab hold of the APC Governorship Flagbearer in Plateau State, Dr. Nentawe Yilwatda, who has joined us from Jos. Good morning, and thank you for making the time for us this morning.
Good morning, Obi. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, would you agree that there's something of a crisis within the APC family in Plateau, or is that making a mountain out of an anthill?
I think more or less making a mountain out of an anthill.
Okay.
Because if maybe an individual feels aggrieved, it doesn't mean the party is right.
Well, why I started off from there is the notion among your fellow party members that the primaries that produced you was not fair. This is according to APC people, was not fair. In fact, so much so that they've written to the national chair of APC seeking an outright cancellation of the whole exercise because they say there was no free selection, no free vote. It was the governor, His Excellency Simon Lalong, and his family members that cleared all the road, threatened public servants, civil servants, that you had to be returned. How would you respond to that?
You said that.
I do want to beg your pardon, Dr. Nentawe. I've got to interrupt you because the audio is not as good as it should be. So we're going to come back to you shortly. We're going to sort of disconnect and reconnect again and see if that is any better. So please stay with us, and we'll hear it from Dr. Nentawe Yilwatda, the flag bearer of APC in Plateau State. Okay, welcome back. We're so sorry about that, but we're back now, and we still have Dr. Nentawe Yilwatda with us. He's the APC flag bearer in Plateau State. We had something of a false start, so thank you very much for bearing with us, Dr. Nentawe. Okay, I was saying that, well, first of all, we heard it when you said, to say that there's an APC crisis in Plateau State, you think it's a bit making a mountain out of a molehill. So coming from that, there still seems to be concern because elders, are involved trying to pacify shall we say, stakeholders in the party. So I wanted to ask you to give me your take, especially as all the other people that contested with you allege that it was hardly a contest, and indeed they've written to the APC chair to consider cancelling outright the whole process. So let me understand from your point of view, because, by the way, why do they want all of that? It is alleged that, the governor, your governor, His Excellency Simon Lalong, and his family, so it is said, really came together, arm-twisted everybody to return you at the peril of losing their jobs if they didn't comply. Now, your turn, sir.
Yeah, I said it clearly, and like I said before, that was more or less an allegation that nobody can prove. I started my contest. Everybody knows that I went to all. I'm one person that went through all the 207 wards where I was in the state. Engaged with all exporter parties. I went around all traditional rulers in the state. I engaged almost all the stakeholders across the local government. And if any assessment was made in terms of popularity, I was the leading contender in the state in terms of popularity across the state. And so saying that one person or anybody made me or gave me an advantage, I didn't see any advantage that was given to me. We went to the primaries. At the primaries also, everybody, all of them who contested with me because we 18 that showed interest to contest, 19 that showed interest to contest for the governorship. 9 of us paid form. 5 out of the 9 came down before the election. 4 of us went to the primaries. One person got agreed on this court after the people that contested with me. So I think we should narrow down to the realities of what happened. Then there are some people who are supporters of that person who galvanized themselves around that individual and went to the party office, letter signed by one person. And that doesn't make the party as a whole to be in crisis. And I think we should narrow down to realities on ground and issues on ground. For now, at the beginning, we don't want to make to respond to most of the allegations we make because we like to make peace as usual. Because after every primary election, you must have fallout. And the issue of peace building and conciliation is normally a major issue one time to move forward. So moving forward, we felt we shouldn't be making press conference. We should make a response because of course when you have conduct primary elections, the losers will normally of course be angry because that's the supporters who are along with them. So for us to build a reconciliation path, we choose to be on the silent path so we can move the party forward.
Okay. Well, other things that they are contesting, and that is, shall we say, your party members who think they have hardly been fairly done by. I'm sure you're aware of Dr. Danyaro Sapia, who is thought to be the secretary of a forum of aspirants. He is a person who has written this communication to your party leadership, saying that it's not kosher what happened in Plateau. But in addition, it is even said by them that you might not even be qualified to have stood for that particular primary, seeing as it's in doubt whether you are actually a member, a legal member of APC, having resigned as your position as an INEC commissioner, and that wouldn't have given you the kind of length of membership that would qualify you to indeed join in that particular process. Those are the things that they're talking about.
I think that's where maybe I think they didn't look to the constitution of APC. Because APC is very specific. Article 3, stated clearly that for you to be a member of APC, you should write to the ward chairman. And your ward chairman will call the ward exco and they will approve the membership. And you communicate to the state. I resigned in December. I applied to be a member of APC on the January 12th. My approval was made on January 15th. And it was communicated to the state as recommended by the Constitution. At the time, I also said that you should, for it to become, a contest for any position under the party, you must have spent 3 months as a member of APC. Between January and March and April, I was only 3 months. By May, when I contested, I was already 4 months in APC. So I made all the legal requirements for me to contest as a member of APC, in the state. Most of them were making mistake of the party last year said that the membership is revalidation. Revalidation is different from membership registration. Revalidation was made for people who are members of APC and want to revalidate their membership, which it is suspended our constitution temporarily to allow for revalidation membership. After that, membership registration continues because membership is a continuous process based on the constitution. So nobody would have blocked me to become a member of APC because the constitution said that if you refuse membership at your ward level, you can apply to the national chairman. Because my ward approved my membership, I didn't need to approve to request the national chairman to approve my membership. Therefore, I'm a full-fledged member of APC based on the constitution of APC.
Well, indeed, because it is in the so to speak, it's in the presence of the leadership of the headship of APC that you have selected your running mate, Honorable Pam Botmang, so it shows that the process is moving on. But I don't think you will agree that there is harmony within the party. So really, I want to hear from you, because it's been said, especially at that event where you unveiled, as it were, your running mate, that you would be working for harmony within the party and bringing everybody on board because of 2023. There's no use going into 2023 with people threatening to leave the party, people threatening to work against your candidature. So I'm sure you know more than most how important this is. Talk to me a bit about that whole specter.
I guess the whole spectrum of leadership and structure of APC to ensure that my running mate emerges. I ensure that all stakeholders, even outside the politics, outside the party, will engage in selection process. Generally, the party agreed that because most of the voters in the state are within the younger generation, that was key to pick somebody younger to match me, so that we can appeal to the younger generation in the course of our picking our running mate. We picked Pombagma in his 40s. Myself and him, our average age is 50.5. So that gives a big leap for younger generation. And NSAS was actually a clear indication that the younger generation was to carry along. So the party responded to the NSAS protest by bringing somebody who is young enough to hear and speak their language and appeal to them. That's the reason why Pamboma emerged as the running mate to me in running to the 2020 election.
Where Plateau is
ultimately also he ticked many boxes, but most importantly, yes, like no election will come, because the essence of politics is going to disagree and agree, and also when you have people of diverse tribes, diverse religion, diverse view, diverse educational background, diversity coming together, of course, it should have the differences. But the essence of being a leader, probably the key is for me to harmonize all those differences and bring in, aggregate all of the positions together, appeal to them, and synchronize all the positions together as a single, so we have point of convergence for us to move together. Of course, we keep on appealing. We keep on talking to people. We keep on agreeing. And where there are differences, we'll at least be able to agree with us and understand with us also.
Okay.
There is no in the political. There is no in primary. Hello, sir.
Are you?
No in
I beg your pardon. We were jamming each other. So, are you saying that that the so-called crisis? Are you optimistic that it can be resolved? Because it's going to be dialogue, and usually in dialogue, it's a matter of you bring some, you take some, and that kind of a thing. And, that's where we are now. It's all about 2023, because these people could theoretically affect, the smooth running because we've heard that some people are considering, maybe that's the ultimate, are considering leaving the party, or worse, working with opposition against their own party member, God forbid. So these are serious concerns, no doubt, unless you say that it's not well understood from outside the state.
I think we're talking and appealing to them, and we're receiving positive response from most of them. Between now and the general election, which we have enough time to consult and create fully involved, I'm sure and 7 months would have all the issues that are on ground would have been laid to rest.
Okay.
And time heals, and we're sure it will be quick.
Let me take this call coming in from Plateau State. Victor in Plateau. Good morning to you, sir. What's your point or question?
Concerning the APC primary, sir.
Yes.
I want to say it categorically clear that the APC did not follow the due process for the primary.
Are you an APC member yourself?
I'm not. Yes, sir.
You are.
Dr. N is not voted. He was endorsed by the governor himself. So, yes, sir. So I'm trying to say that if Nentawe will not stand and say the truth now, the youth will not vote him because, tomorrow Nentawe will stand and do something that will defend Lalong, not the citizens. So we are saying no to that. If Nentawe will stand and say the truth and then tell Lalong the truth of what he's doing, can you imagine now like this? The government will increase and the government is not saying anything. People are very hungry. There's no food, nothing, no infrastructure. The government, Lalong is also committing sin because he's endorsed by Nentawe.
Okay. All right. Let me ask the flag bearer to comment on your position that due process was not followed. That the youths are angry about that.
If any individual should not form a youth, one person should not form the youth of Plateau. But let me just say this clearly here, that due process was followed because accreditation took place. The list of delegates was brought. All the agents of the people that contested with me agreed that they were okay with the list. Accreditation took place. They all partook in the accreditation. I was there physically in person, and they all agreed that they were okay with the accreditation. Voting took place, and they all agreed with the voting until it reached a point. An individual who was not a party agent started a protest. He came in the name of being a journalist, the type of journalist. He said that that the delegates were voting one person.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the way the system worked out. They couldn't complain on the process, but they said that most of the delegates were voting one person. Most of the delegates voting one person has nothing to do with the process being wrong. That's why even Sarabia, who went to court, is not challenging the election. He's challenging selection of delegates that were done done.
Okay, there is a difference.
Yes. So I think we should make, this point should be clear.
Okay, another caller is coming from Jos. Good morning, Ada in Jos.
Good morning, Mr. Ayeri.
Yes.
Ada calling from Jos. Good morning to your guests there.
Yes, thank you.
So this morning is Jos Gallo. Anyway, I want to talk about this political crisis,
Sure.
On a general term.
Sure.
Political parties should be mindful about the kind of politics they play. Lack of internal party democracy is becoming worrisome. If you ask me, this is what is generating so much bickering and almost tearing the parties apart. This politics without principles and at gunpoint consensus must be discouraged, destroying our democracy. Mr. Yori, hear this. A member of River State APC, I don't want to mention his name, maybe you followed the story. Yesterday, I watched him on television. Told us on national TV that he has defected to another party, which he refused to mention. He said we will know the party on a later date, but he's going to appear as a flag bearer, a governorship candidate on that party, the one he has defected to. But he's going to work for the Tinubu at the presidential level. Okay, can you hear that? So that is, he's using that new party as an entrepreneurial party, throwing caution to the wind, no morality, no principles. Just because he lost his ticket there, then he now wants to use another party, and then he doesn't want to work for that party. Then the uncle kept on asking him, say, is that how to play politics? He said it doesn't matter. Can you imagine how they are so reckless? And only God will save us in this country. God bless Nigeria. Let's not give up on this country. People should search their conscience and do the right thing. You don't have to be there by all means. God bless you.
Well, thank you very much, Ada. That was sort of delicately put. As she said, she wanted to talk in general terms. But then she also went into this whole matter about, her words, principle and, that kind of a thing. And you were explaining that. Now, why could you explain why people are mentioning the name of His Excellency Simon Lalong and family in your emergence? That's the part of it. I mean, I can understand, not that it would be necessarily right, but that they are adding family and then also saying, cajoling all members of the public service to go ahead and do the needful lest they lose their jobs. These are worrisome ideas, no doubt.
Sorry, are civil servants delegates? Are they members of APC? Are they involved in the emergence of delegates? That's the question we should be asking. When people don't find reasons for them losing elections, they create reasons that never exist. Because if someone says that the governor directed the civil servants to ensure that he match, how can civil servants influence selection of members of APC? Because the civil servants are not members of, and they're not exco, because it's the exco that will be involved in the conduct of the primaries. And the delegates, the APC constitution is very clear that civil servants do not contest for position of a delegate, and nobody holding a position in the party, holding a position in the party or in the executive of the party or member of the House of Assembly. So none of Lalong's appointees was a delegate. None of Governor Lalong's people in the House of Assembly were delegates. No civil servant was delegate. So in what way did directive given as they claimed? Which I know there was no directive given, but even if directive is given civil servants, how can civil servants influence the selection of delegates?
Okay.
Which, in any way they're involved in selection.
Let me bring in Salisu, who's called in from Kaduna. Good morning, Mr. Salisu.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Salisu.
Good morning.
Okay, go ahead with your question, observation, comment, whatever.
I also said good morning to the talk. And if by the grace of God, you become a governor of Plateau State, you become a governor of Plateau State.
Could you say that again, please? I'm trying to say that again. Say what you said again. I wonder, Dr. Nentawe, could you make out what he was trying to say? He was saying something about if by the grace of God you become governor. Did you hear the rest?
No.
Oh, neither did I. That's Salisu in Kaduna. Your line was breaking as you were speaking. But, the flag bearer has been saying to us that civil servants, he's at a loss to understand that particular point, because civil servants are not supposed to, be involved in politics. But in the meantime, good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to your guest.
Yes, Dr. Nentawe. Go ahead, please.
Yori, all these issues about APC party governance is as a result of a deficit in the party leadership. It's good that there are crises in several state chapters of that party. Some of the crises started as far back as 2015. They were not resolved. The leader of the party was not really interested in party affairs. And it is the fallout of those disagreements that have been on the ground that we are seeing today. It's not only in Plateau, it's in several other states. And I'm beginning to wonder that with all these ones still on the ground, can they really go through the general election of 2023 without resolving them? I want to seize this opportunity to appeal to Ashwa Tinubu to please spend time on this subject matter and resolve many of these issues before the election. They are critical. Otherwise, it will not go well for the party. You can see what Nentawe was saying on television yesterday. Same thing in so many states. So, and we are not even sure that even those that are supporting him now would do the same thing when the time comes. Some of them may be showing one face during the day and another face during the night. So let him spend time on that. I hope his men are hearing me to resolve these party issues in several states before the election.
Okay.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you. So, Dr. Nentawe, the suggestion made there that the issue here is not peculiar to Plateau, but APC generally, and that the roots are quite deep, meaning that they've been in existence for a while. I don't know if you would agree with that, especially as it relates to your state, Plateau, and how difficult or easy it will be to, if you want, untie the knots going into the elections in 2023.
Well, primary conflict is not only in APC, it's in almost all the political parties in Nigeria. Normally, when at the fallout of all, if you check last year, in the 2019 general election, there were more pre-election matters than general election matters. It simply means that yes, there's need to deepen the democracy at the party level in Nigeria, and I'm sure there's need for us to actually improve the legal framework for conducting of primary elections in Nigeria. That one I agree with you, but narrowing it down to only a party may not be true, because as I'm talking to you also, even in the state here, there are also cases of election matters already in court in several other parties, and similar in most states. Now, this is where we need to focus back on ourselves, and that's certainly that reconciliation is key, what we're doing right now, but it doesn't mean that it's only in APC.
Okay. Mr. Habib in Jos, good morning to you.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Uncle Yori, this issue of primaries in the Plateau, what transpired, Governor Lalong was not at the venue of the primaries. I see no reason of anyone complaining that Governor Lalong has sponsored for the emergence of Dr. Nentawe. People should be realistic about it. Dr. Nentawe has emerged. I am among the delegates that were there on the venue of the election. I know what transpired there. And I see no reason people will be complaining that Governor Lalong has hand in the emergence of Dr. Nentawe. He knows his handwork. He did the right thing. He got the ticket. And I see no reason people should be complaining. And in issue of getting his running mate, meaning Dr. Pam Bodman, Dr. Nentawe has made the perfect choice the people of Plateau are looking for, because we need somebody very young and agile. And Dr. Pam Bodman, he moved look and cranny of the Plateau. Everybody respects what he did in bringing Dr. Pam Bodman as his running mate. So, on query, we respect what he did, and we are solidly behind him. And saying Dr. Lalong is not after the project or whatever.
Habib, 1 second, please. Did you say you were among the delegates?
A lot of things is happening.
Did you say you were one of the delegates?
Yeah, I am one of the delegates.
Okay. Again, how those delegates were chosen, they are complaining, was unknown to the rest of the field.
Okay, what happened was, you'll be selected from the ward level. It's from the ward level.
I see. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Well, Dr. Nentawe, well, at least some respite in the sense that we always like to hear both sides of the issues, and that was, another take as opposed to those who are saying that the whole exercise needs to be overturned. But, and interestingly, the point was made there about your deputy. The gentleman who just spoke said, he and many others are quite pleased with that. By the way, you don't have the issue of a Christian deputy and a Muslim principal, or the other way around in your state, do you?
No, we don't.
Okay. So Christian is okay in Plateau, because yes. Did you want to add to what Habib said, that he can't see what the whole rumpus is all about? That people need to be fairer.
Yes, that's what I was telling you. So let me just be frank with you. you can imagine that in 20, before the primaries, 18 people, they claim that 18 people made a press conference against, before even the primaries. On that very day, I was in the Shandam local government. I was seeing all the councillors that are in the southern zone of the state. I gathered them and I met with them. After that, I met with all the critical stakeholders in the south. While only 6 people made a press conference. Out of the 6, only 1 person picked from.
Okay.
Not even, only one out of the 6 picked from. And then the list they used for the press conference, my name was on the list that I signed. They used the list and put that there was a meeting in the party office and used to present to the public and to see people with it as if it was a press conference made by all of us. My name was there. I was in Shandam meeting with this thing. How can I be making a press conference against myself? So they and that was it was so funny. It's on record that they fed the list that they used on that day, 20 people, so that the Plateau people will believe as if 80 people against me. That's number one. And out of the 6 that went there, only 1 person picked from. They claim that 18 people after the primary said that 18 agreed abstinence. Only 9 people went to the primaries. After the 9, 5 dropped before the primaries. 4 went to the primaries, along with me. 1 came in person to step down for me. So when people start making allegations that start building emotional people because few are aggrieved, they make it look as if the whole process was wrong. And if the person was wrong, they would have gone to court to challenge that the person was wrong. But the challenging emergence of the delegates, not this. And by the way, Yori, I have no case in court. I have no single case in court. I've not been served any. In the process that I've seen, none of them that I'm joined in.
Okay. Reverend Dominic in Alimosho, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Chijori. Good morning to our guests in Plateau State.
Yes.
Yori, let me start where George stopped, and that is my concern. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Where George stopped is the issue of the matter. So since 2019, this our JAP party APC, to me, has not lost any state election against opposition. We have been losing it by what we do well or what we didn't do. In Zafra State, you know what happened? In Bayelsa was more painful. At a night to the swearing-in, who we fixed as deputy cost us Bayelsa State. So in Imo State, where I come from today, I can see there's no more government there. It's what social speed in APC that cost APC Imo State and make us to go to Supreme Court, which Imo State people did not receive governor as their governor. So what I'm trying to say is that the issue is leadership. Someone will start the party. The last leaders will lay back, both the president, both the national leader, they will lay back, maybe take side. Look what's in Osun. No, APC did not lose in Osun. We lost Osun too by the wrangle between the interior minister and the sitting government. So the problem is leadership. I wish the next leaders that are coming will correct it, but I don't see them correcting it. Now we are explaining to ourselves today, Muslim ticket. Do we need to speak to ourselves? Now we are quarreling with ourselves. Instead of quarreling with opposition about our choice, we are making pastors and making bishops. If you have to go to election, if case not taken, 2023 is sitting on the keg of gunpowder. I wish they make amend now. Let the leadership of APC put it together. They will win election, but we are losing election by ourselves, for what we do wrong or right. Why should we have that kind of leadership? Thank you, sir.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. Dr. Nentawe was really by way of a comment that APC seems to be in a position where, in some cases, it is its own foe. It doesn't wait for outsiders, so to speak. I don't know what you think the, shall we say, the composition of this particular dispute is in your state, but you said that there is time between now and the election to really comprehensively address these matters so that you go forward as a settled house, right?
I said we have enough time. So the few that are briefed, we can talk, we can engage them. And we know diplomacy language now. So we can aggregate all, like I said, we keep on converging. The diverging views that we have, all the interests that were not covered, we ensure that we get it embedded in our movement forward.
Okay. Stephen in Abuja. Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Please go ahead.
Yes. Well, the situation in Plateau State is that occurred is actually not a too good situation. But Dr. Nentawe, we know him. We know his antecedents. We know his antecedents in INEC in Benue. We know how he brought in the IDP voting in Benue. We know he gives laptops to students, empowered students in skills acquisitions, and a whole lot he has done. We know his capacity. We know what he can do. And we're actually really looking forward for him to come and actualize his vision in Plateau State. But the major point of contention is the incumbent governor, Governor Lalong. Governor Lalong has failed us. I would say he has failed us because when we actually voted him in March, the trust we had in him was not actually actualized the way we wanted it. The issues of projects, he did not do enough projects that we thought he would do, and the crisis in the state, he did not handle it the way we thought he would handle it. And also, I feel that is the only thing that will probably affect the candidacy of Dr. Nentawe. As I mentioned earlier, his capacity we know what he can do, we know what he would do in Plateau State. So I just hope they go back to the drawing table and try to find a solution to the crisis that came up. The issue of imposition of Nentawe, I would say that probably the governor even imposed. I think the governor made that in the best interest of Plateau State, I would say. But the way he went about it was not good. But we hope they find a solution to it because, by the grace of God, we know what Nentawe will do.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, then.
Yes.
Again, Dr. Nentawe, he's talking about processes. That gentleman says that, look, you're a known commodity to them, but there still are processes, and that is where some people might feel hard done by.
Yori, like I told you before, is because of the video when they were marching out. When some of the aspirants take the walkout, there's a video that was circulated at the point of their marching out. But they didn't. If you check that the video did not capture what led to them walking out and the statement that were made. Because you challenge a process. You don't challenge the number of votes being given to somebody. You can't say that more votes are going to one person and then you're marching out of the whole. You can only say to work out if the process is wrong, assuming they complain about the process. Up to date, I've asked any of them who, among all my own aspirants, if I see anybody stating clearly what was wrong with the process. Because I was there and all of us were there with them. And like I said, inside the hall, the process is first accreditation. You bring a list that comes from INEC and the list that came from the party. That's the delegate list.
Okay.
All the agreed to it, that the list were okay. They agreed also that the accreditation process was okay, and we should start voting. Voting started, and we've done 3 local governments before they discovered that the vote was going one way. So should delegates be coerced to change their mind and distribute the votes against their own wish?
All right,
No,
then.
because
Our final caller today, coming in from, let me see now. I've mixed that up a bit. Where's the caller coming? Ibrahim in Jos. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Honestly, I am an ACM member, Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please continue.
Okay.
We can hear you.
I am a APC member residing here in Jos. But honestly, the problem here in Plateau State is been attributed because the governor is not helping the situation on ground, honestly, because the governor and one of the honorable member on the Plateau are the two people that are trying to impose Dr. Nentawe on us. But honestly, Dr. Nentawe as a person is a very good man, but the process is not followed. Why? Because I said so. On that same fateful day of the primaries, the aspirants were there on ground, but the delegates, the list of the delegates being submitted to the officials of the elections on that day, honestly, are different lists to be known for the people that were there as delegates, because some of the delegates, the official delegates that were names have been submitted have been changed. Honestly, it didn't go well.
Okay. All right.
One of the
I'm going to have to interrupt you. I beg your pardon for doing so because we've almost run out of time, and I did want Dr. Nentawe to, sort of react to this.
Was the delegate. Please kindly ask if the delegate on agent of the party. Because on that day, no agent, I was there in person, no agent of any of the candidates or any aspirants complained about the delegate list that was brought from the INEC and the list that came from the party. The two lists coincided, both the one that came from INEC and the list that came from the party were the same. And none of the party agents complained about the list.
Okay.
Until we're going to have a point of accreditation.
Okay.
Even after accreditation,
I'm sorry. We're going to have to leave it here, but at least we've got the sketch, and I suppose it's important that you said that. Look, you're optimistic. There is enough time to resolve all these matters amicably and go forward into the 2023 election with a united front. I want to thank you, Dr. Nentawe Goshwe Yilwatda. I hope I didn't murder the names too much, but thank you very much for making the time for us this morning.
thank you so very much.
All right, then. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.